Okay, for the cake, the first thing you want to do is either use non-stick spray or get a little oil. So just place that in, and then you're going to place some flour in your pan, and you're going to work it in. You want to get the edges too. And you can reserve that flour just like this. And you do want to get all of it, so once you get it all out, you want to give it a nice little hit. So it's just coated. And then finally add your sifted flour into the batter, and you can do it slowly. The lumps out of it as much as you can. Then place our cake batter in, like so. Make sure you get all of it. And into the oven. Okay, in this bowl I have 1.5 cups of heavy cream. We're going to add to this pudding mix instant vanilla pudding. This is going to make us our faux pastry cream. Okay, this works really well. Okay, make sure that you put the liquid on the bottom and not the pudding first. Okay, this way it'll help incorporate it. Then I've got 1.5 cups of milk. And what the cream is going to do is actually give it that little lightness that you need, that fluffiness. You can do this in the stand-up mixer. So you want to get it to at least right here. And we'll go ahead and refrigerate it. Okay, for the buttercream frosting, you're going to add your softened butter and your cream cheese. Make sure you get it all in. You're going to add your vanilla. Add your powdered sugar. Lift it up and start it on low. Just to get it going, you don't want that sugar to go all over you. Start it on low. And then I also like to add a little salt. That's optional. It just kind of brightens the taste a little bit. So about a little less than 1/4 teaspoon. And then you can start to increase the speed. Once you increase the speed, then you're going to go ahead and add your heavy cream. And get some air going in there. We want a little lift out of it. That heavy cream is going to lift it up somewhat. Let it go for about 45 seconds to a minute. And you have this nice looking buttercream. And of course you can add food coloring to it to give it a different color. Okay, you're going to remove it from the oven, then you're going to check it with the toothpick, and if it comes out clean, it's ready to go. We'll let it rest for about 20 minutes and then we'll take it out of the pan. Okay, once it cools and you've taken it out of the pan, we're going to go ahead and put the faux pastry cream in the center. Several ways you could do this. If you want to put skewers in like this, then you can kind of cut them evenly. Okay, so if you would place the skewer inside the center and just make sure you come out the other end right around the middle, you can actually run your knife and you can put two of them in. Okay, so I'm just going to cut through the center. Like I said, you could use dental floss. Just wrap it around and just run it across. That works really well. But the key is just making sure your knife is even along the edges. Making sure that you follow, and you want to fill that side that you started and make sure you align it as close as you can. Make sure your knife goes through more than halfway, and then you should be able to get that off. And you got to be very careful with this because this cake is very fragile. Okay, and then we'll just go ahead and put our faux pastry cream in the center. Just put that in. And then you have your filling. And that's about what we can do. And then you could do any kind of other fillings, or if you want to put any kind of fruit like strawberries in the center, you can do that. You get this, flip that back on top like so. And now you have a straight top. And then the next step is what we call dirty ice, or dirty icing, or crumb coat. So what you want to do here is you're just basically going to give it a single layer of your buttercream, and then you're going to refrigerate it. And then what that does is it hardens the frosting, and then you can come back and do it nice and neat and clean. That's the biggest mistake most people make. They'll frost it all in one try, and that's where you get all the crumbs on your frosting or on your cake. A little bit. I'm going to go ahead and just lay this out like so. And then we're just going to go ahead and start from the center, work our way out. And again, we're looking at a single layer. We don't want a nice hard frost. So just work it in, out. And then we're going to refrigerate this once we are done. Okay, so I'm just putting the finishing touches on the crumb coat or the dirty icing. Then you're going to refrigerate this, and then what that does is it gets the frosting nice and firm so that you can come back and frost it and it doesn't get all crumbs all over it. So this is what we call a crumb coat or a dirty icing. Okay, after about 15 minutes or so, after it gets nice and firm, it's going to be much easier to frost. Now remember, if you're going to use multiple colors, make sure you reserve your buttercream in separate bowls. Okay, you don't want to put red in and then you realize you don't have all the colors that you wanted. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little here. And this will be for the main coat. And then I'm going to try to go for kind of like a pink. So I have a red here, so I just, again, small amount here, and then let's see if I can't get this to a pink. So add a little at a time, and I think this is about what we're looking for here on there. So we'll go ahead and use that, and it's going to be a lot easier. Make sure your offset spatula is completely clean, and then just frost it up. It should be fairly easy because that first layer is nice and firm. You won't get any crumbs. Okay, and then just going to put the finishing touches. You can just kind of swirl it up on the top, however you want to do. You can go like this. Okay, however you want to do it. And then finally, I'll just go ahead and pipe up some little rosettes on the top, and then maybe finish it up with some strawberries. And again, if you guys want to bring fondant, you can bring some fondant on the top. We'll get everything out of the way. Hopefully this will go all the way around. We'll just be very careful with the amount. Kind of like this. I could have used another color too if I wanted to, red, to kind of accentuate it a little bit more. But we're going to go ahead and use a little strawberry. And one more. Okay, and then I have some strawberries that I've cleaned already. So what I would do is I would basically leave the stems on if you choose, however you want to do it, but cut them in half. And then you can place these on, and this kind of makes it look a little bit nicer. You can play around with it though. Gives it the nice color. If you want to leave the stems on, that's fine. Something you would pick up anyway. And there you go.